What's going on, everybody? This is Max the Catfish, and this week, Coffee Stain Studios released a pretty sizable update to the Satisfactory Early Access branch ahead of the Steam release next week on June 8th. And I want to walk you through some of the bigger changes from this list of patch notes. But of course, if you want to find the full list, you can find them over at the satisfactory.gamepedia website. I've got the link to that down in the description below. Let's just jump into the first item on the patch notes. This one is really big, something that people have been asking for a long time, and that is that barrel nuts and pale berries now regrow about every 3 days, which is awesome. This is great for explorers who are out there fighting monsters looking for a renewable source of food. So you could even plan some bases, maybe even using hypertubes in areas where pale berries and barrel nuts grow most often. And that way you can revisit these spaces every 3 days or so to renew on that supply of food. Next up on the list is a major change, one that's been requested for a long time and actually is the content from our last video. That is that we finally have overflow setters in smart splitters and programmable splitters. If you use these splitters, you can now go and specify the overflow to come out of one of your sides of the splitter, and this is really great if you're sending in a bunch of resources and you only want the excess resources to go to something like an awesome sink. I've got a tutorial video of how to use these. I'm going to put it up here on the screen so that you can go and take a look. But there's some other big changes that were made to smart splitters. Most notably, we have got a search bar here, which is awesome. I can type in coal and find it really quickly. This is great in the late game, especially when you have so many resources that you're looking for to use the smart splitter to sort of split out. And in addition to that, down there in the bug fix, I didn't actually realize they consider this a bug, but it's been provided to us, which is they're no longer going to back up if you've got duplicate rules. And what that means is if I set this to coal and I set this to coal, what used to happen is if one of your belts backed up, all of your belts would back up in your splitters, and that's no longer the case. You can actually have both of these set to coal. It will split 50-50, all of the coal coming through the belt, and at the point that one of the belts actually backs up, the other belt is going to have 100% of your resources flowing through. So it's a really nice change for splitters. It changes their functionality drastically. So if you've got these around your base, you might want to check up on them and make sure that the functionality with them right now is what you would expect. Next up, we've got a big old change to the train platforms. You'll notice something new here. The train platforms have been completely overhauled and, in my opinion, for the better. These things look gorgeous. I love the design of them, and the best part is that they now fit in a 3x2 foundation square. You can actually do some really cool building with these by using some foundations, maybe inlaying them into your bases. They now fit within this square that makes them look so much nicer. And to top it all off, you take a look at the rail here. It is perfectly centered in the center of the station. I love it. One of the other things that I freaking love about these things is that you can line up stuff like the walkway crossings. You can line up foundations at this level, and you've got an integrated, right over here, an integrated walkway along your entire platform that you can also connect to your factory. Look at this. We can walk over here and it's perfectly at the same level. I love the design of these. It's really awesome. The handlebars don't exactly match the handlebars of the walkways, but it's totally fine. Just them lining up is good enough for me. I love this. In addition to this, there's a big change to the amount of resources that these guys hold. Previously, the fluid platforms here only held 500 cubic meters of fluid. That was not a lot. And this has been changed along with the other fluid storage buildings. So your fluid freight platforms now hold 2,400. Your train cars went from holding only 500 cubic meters to holding 1,600 cubic meters, almost 3 times as much. The fluid buffers in the game have gone from 300 cubic meters to 400 cubic meters, and the industrial fluid buffers, these bad boys right here, have been doubled in size. They used to hold 1,200 cubic meters. They now hold 2,400. Awesome quality of life change. You can now build way fewer of these in your base, or not. You know, go for it. Dream big. Also, while unmentioned in the bug fixes, this is something that was fixed in the latest update. You'll notice that now when you place these rails, they no longer have this weird invisible bounding box that used to exist before this update. And what that means is you can now finally build out some rail designs a lot quicker and easier because that invisible bounding box is no longer there. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to work around that weird invisible bounding box anymore. One small but really nice quality of life update is it's so much easier to place stairs downwards. They listed this pretty explicitly, but it's really nice. You no longer have this weird upwards orientation of staircases. You only really used to be able to build these upwards. And now if you aim at this little pip at the bottom of the stairs here, you can place your staircases. Keep in mind, you can place them two different ways, like this or like that. And if you aim at the top of this thing, they are a lot easier to place as well. So your staircase can go like this or like this, however you'd prefer. But that is a nice little change. It's just so much easier to place them downwards. Something I've been looking forward to since they released the other ramp packs in the Awesome Shop has finally been added. We finally have access to the inverted corner ramp pack, and this is the final piece of the puzzle when it comes to base building. Now you have the ability to create these upside down corner ramps, which are really cool and can really round out the bottom of your bases. One of the best changes that came out of this update for early access is the multiple hotbars. You can see down here at the bottom, when I'm holding the Alt key and scrolling, I can now change between 10 customizable hotbars. I freaking love this. I've got a hotbar for placing fluids. I've got a hotbar for placing those walkways. This is such a great quality of life change. And of course, you can always place things on this bar by scrolling over them in your build menu and then pressing the number keys 0 through 9, or however you have these bound. So I can do number 6 here, number 7 there to put them on my hotbar. And keep in mind, you can go and customize these in the options as well in the controls panel. So you can change what you have your switching between the hotbars to. I use control, but alt is default. I also have my shortcuts for the other keys to alts 1 through 5 because they're easy to reach with my fingers, but you can customize these to your own desire. One of the smaller but notable additions in this update is the addition of the autosave notifications. You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, you are given about 10 seconds to the next autosave. And this is really good for those of you that have a big base or a lot of buildings on your planet. You'll notice that your autosave is going to slow down a little bit. This is a really nice visual indication that the autosave is going to hit. And you can always toggle this on or off in the options gameplay panel by checking the autosave notifications if you do or don't want these to appear on your screen. One of the additions you might have skimmed over when you were looking at these patch notes is this one. It's huge. Added a tooltip for head lift in pipeline pumps. And what that means is we now have this little number here, which represents our head lift. That is how much higher is this pump pushing our liquid than we were able to previously. So our head lift here is 16.3. That means this pump is pushing the liquid up 16.3 meters to this point. And this pump, well, we are exceeding our head lift. We are actually 22 meters. That means we can't actually push the liquid all the way up into our freight platform. We need another pump. So what we've got to do is build another pump along this pipeline about maybe here and connect that up to some power. And let's check. This pump's head lift is steadily increasing until it evens out at 18.1. 18.2, and this pump here, its head lift is 18.6. And because this is within our recommended head lift, we can take a look and we know that liquid is pumping into the fluid freight platform. Such a great quality of life update. The one thing to note is this hasn't yet been added to the water extractors. So you won't know from a water extractor whether it's able to push the liquid to where it needs to go. You got to give this a little bit more attention. But this is a great update for the game. I love it. Next up, we've got a line here. Added an additional onboarding step highlighting the codex. And some of you might be asking, what the heck's the codex? Well, that is your recipe list that you can get to if you press the X key. And in here, you can see all the recipes you've got, all the ingredients required for each one, and their production rate. And from here, you can also add any items to your to-do list by using the buttons inside. As of this update, explorers are going to be very happy. They have increased the size of the flying crabs that come out of these crab nests here, and they're going to be much easier to hit with your sword. Sorry, your Xenobasher. And when they go down after hitting you, they're going to stay down for a little bit longer, which is going to make them a little bit easier for you to kill. These guys used to be super tiny back before this update, and now they're a lot easier to take care of when you're out exploring the world. There's a note in the patch notes that says that they changed the starting area descriptions and order in the new game menu. And I was a little bit curious, despite having played through these, kind of what they were going for. And it looks like they are giving these recommendations here of what you should be playing based on your skill level and experience in the game, which is really cool. So the grass feels ideal for first-time pioneers. And the text here is a little bit more immersive. The first viable building location Fixit had found, standing out because of its open and relatively flat fields. I love this. It's much more explanatory of what you're going to encounter in each one of these areas. And the rocky desert being suitable for first-time pioneers, the northern forest being good, and the dune desert definitely being considered recommended for advanced pioneers due to its distance between the ore outcrops. It's a nice little change that makes the game feel a little bit more immersive from the very beginning. Lastly, there's a note here in the patch notes about the Epic Online Services implementation. This is the new service that's going to be put in place that is going to facilitate crossplay across the Epic and Steam versions of Satisfactory. We got a little bit of information from the dev stream this last Tuesday, and I can share some of that with you. Multiplayer is still going to be peer-to-peer, and no matter whether you're on the Epic or Steam version of the game, multiplayer sessions are going to be facilitated via the Epic Online Services, or EOS. Regardless of which platform you're on, you'll be able to join Crossplay Multiplayer across these two versions of the game using the host's session ID, which they can provide to you. On the dev stream, we got a little bit of a sneak peek into the Steam version of the game. Okay, we got to see the first menu. And this is something that's really important for those of you that either are waiting for the Steam release or are thinking about buying a Steam version of the game as well. When you first load in the Steam version of the game, you're going to encounter a screen that will look something like this. Now, Jason Snoot have said they might change the wording of this screen a little bit, but you are going to be asked whether you want to link your Steam and Epic accounts via the EOS. If you choose to do so, you're going to be able to see the friends that you have on both the Epic and Steam versions of the game. So your Steam and Epic friends list for Satisfactory are going to be linked. Do note, if you choose not to link your accounts, or if when you first load in the game you don't want to make an Epic account, you're not going to be able to link them in the future. That is until such an option is implemented. So it is a one-time decision that you're going to have to make when you first boot up the game. If you already own the Epic version of the game, you'll be able to see any friends of yours who have chosen to purchase the game on Steam and who have linked their accounts between Steam and Epic. Confusing? It is a little. The devs have mentioned in their latest stream that they're going to look to explain the process a little bit better before the release on June 8th. Just know that by linking your Steam and Epic accounts via the EOS, you're going to be linking your friends lists across the Epic and Steam versions of Satisfactory. And while that isn't required for crossplay multiplayer, you won't be able to change your mind for what might be an undetermined amount of time, so choose wisely. Rest assured, whichever decision you make, you'll still be able to play crossplay multiplayer across the Epic and Steam versions of the game by connecting to your friends using that session ID, so it's not such a big worry. Those are the major changes to the early access branch of Satisfactory that came out of the latest update, but it wasn't everything. If you want to see the full list of patch notes, you can go to the Satisfactory Gamepedia website, which I've linked down there in the description. Otherwise, June 8th is the day. The game is launching on Steam. We're going to see a massive influx of new players. If you're new to the game, curious about what's going on, or you're just coming to this video, check out one of our other tutorial videos where I run you through some of the tips and tricks that I've got for you in the game. I try to keep relatively few spoilers so you can experience the full breadth of the game, but you have the knowledge that you need to feel comfortable and confident moving forward. So check out some of our other videos, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Satisfactory tips and tricks. I'll see you in our next video, or over on Twitch where I live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over at twitch.tv/MaxTheCatfish. See you guys soon.
Oh god, my spine is freaking tingling right now.
You ain't nothing! I'm gonna die to poison. I'm gonna die to poison. Stay alive, come on. Oh no!